arrives with classic football weather in Morgantown, West Virginia. Welcome to ESPN College Football and today's high-tempo, high-impact Big 12 game between number 7 TCU, a playoff contender, and number 20 West Virginia. The Mountaineers, protecting home turf, control their destiny in the Big 12 standings at 4-1. Already they've upset Baylor on this field. TCU arrives at 3-1 with a tough stretch ahead. Gary Patterson will have to think very quickly today. He calls the defensive signals, matching wits with his counterpart. Dana Holgorsen, of course, calls the plays for West Virginia.
Dana feels he has an offense that can challenge Gary's defense, and it's going to be an interesting game here early to how they feel one another out in a game where you're expecting a lot of points.
TCU won the toss and deferred. The Mountaineers will get the ball as Jaden Oberkrom takes off to the dangerous number 5 Mario Alford and Shelton Gibson. The wind is left to right, so West Virginia in this first quarter working into a pretty stiff breeze, which will test Trickett right away. These teams have played thrillers each of the last 2 years. Could be in for a third right here. Wind at his back. Oberkrom drives it deep in the end zone. So Trickett began at West Virginia. He's a senior now. He's become an efficient, great decision maker. Not much of a running threat.
No, not at all. But a coach's son and a guy who I think has learned over time in this system to live on the edge a little bit, to pull the trigger. You know, he wanted to be so careful coming out of the Florida State system and so sure as a coach's son. He's had to learn the Dana Holgorsen way of being able to pull the trigger and trust his receivers. Wendell
Smallwood is the starting tailback. Russell Shell not quite 100%, and they give it to Smallwood on the first carry. Short gain against the Frogs. Jonathan Anderson, the middle backer, made the stop.
And Trickett is an interesting young man. We saw him a couple years ago when he played for Florida State, and he was about 158 pounds that night when he played against the Sooners, and has put on a lot of weight, up to about 184 now.
Kevin White, top of your screen, had single coverage, but they'll drop it off short underneath. And the catch made there by Jordan Thompson, the little speedster, stopped just a yard short, so it'll be 3rd and short.
Pretty good effort there. It looked like he might have gone out of bounds because of the play by Mallet, but he fights for some extra yards and puts him in very good position here early on this first 3rd down. Looks like that might be a 3rd and 9 situation, but the effort by Thompson gives him to a 3rd and 1. And this is the difference, Chris, with West Virginia. As I mentioned with Dana, it's a strong offensive line. They're much more physical, especially in the middle with the 2 guards in the center than they've been in the past.
Russell Shell now in the game on this 3rd and short, and they had to hurry just before the play clock expired. Timeout from the West Virginia sideline.
West Virginia calls their first timeout of the half.
Smallwood now back in the game. I formation on 3rd and 1. They give it to him. Just does dive across the 35 for a first down before Anderson stopped him.
Mentioned the push that they can get in the middle, but these linebackers, they read their keys. They have tremendous speed. Mallet, Dawson, that time Jonathan Anderson, 6'3", 227-pound senior.
First down handoff. This is a much different looking Holgorsen offense. He is really committed to the running game. They still gain a ton of yards through the air, but we'll see a lot of runs today.
Yeah, I think, again, that's the difference. I think they're much more balanced. Obviously, they're still throwing the football, and that's their strength. But in the past, the one question you had about West Virginia was, could they run the ball if they have to? And with TCU still a little inexperienced at corner and in man coverage, which is what they want to do, they keep 2 safeties back. And if they keep 2 safeties back, they're going to have to run the ball.
On 2nd and 7, Frogs show some pressure. Another handoff, and Smallwood takes a big pop, but a nice gain. Paul Dawson leading tackler on this TCU defense, knocked him down 2 yards short of a first down.
We just talked about it. If TCU is going to keep safeties back because of respect of this man right here, and you've got two guys back, you've got numbers in here, and you've got to be able to run the football and win that battle at the line of scrimmage with respect to this TCU defense.
Shell and Smallwood in there. It's about 1.5 yards away. Handed off inside, hammering for a first down is Smallwood. So 5 out of 6 runs to start the game, and they're up near midfield.
And they're going to go tempo here. I thought it was interesting in our meeting yesterday. Shannon Dawson, the offensive coordinator, and Dana both saying we've had to learn to become more patient with this running game.
Another handoff, flying through, trying to knock Shell down. The Frogs do make a tackle for loss. Jonathan Anderson was in there.
These linebackers do not hesitate. And Dana Holgerson eventually comes back with play action off these same looks where they're starting to run the ball. Linebackers flying downhill. You get linebackers committing to stopping the run. You pull it out, and you hit a receiver or a tight end right behind them.
They run it again on 2nd and 12. Got a block on the edge. Knocked down there is Russell Shell. This will be the first 3rd and medium for this Mountaineer offense. Perhaps Kirk working into the wind. He feels more comfortable running it in this first quarter.
Well, it's the safeties. They're playing with 2 deep safeties, and they're being patient so far.
Empty backfield on 3rd down. Trickett flips it short. It's a screen. White makes the catch. Can he escape? Yes. Kevin White makes another man miss. Still running. Kevin White weaving down inside the 25. And that's why he's one of America's best receivers. His 73rd catch.
This is the physicality of Kevin White after the catch. He's known as a player who can make plays downfield, but here he is in the open field. He makes 3 different TCU defenders miss on a great play.
Crowd fired up early, and Patterson has to spend a timeout on defense. Poor tackling on that 3rd down play will not make Gary happy. And welcome to those of you joining on ESPN2 who watched Maryland and Penn State. Just a little bit to the west in Morgantown, a breezy, windy, chilly day. First possession for West Virginia, working into the wind against TCU. They're down to the 23-yard line.
We're getting a great look at this West Virginia offense, and a new look West Virginia offense with Clint Trickett. It's not just about Kevin White. In his first drive, 9 plays, 7 runs from the Mountaineers.
There's a play action on 1st down. Trickett steps up, loops for the end zone. Touchdown, Mario Alford. Runs to set up a touchdown pass, and the Mountaineers strike first, Kurt.
That's what we talked about in the open, was they're going to run the football. He possesses it, feet down clearly. That's a touchdown. If you're going to keep your safeties back, it's a new look West Virginia offense, running the football, make the safeties respect that, create some one-on-one opportunities, and that's when they go to their bread and butter, which is Kevin White, Mario Alford in the passing game.
He just barely collected that ball before the end line. But it's Alford's 7th touchdown of the season, and the reliable Josh Lambert on for the PAT. By Mountaineer standards, 4 minutes is a long touchdown drive, but they draw first blood.
Great patience by Trickett. Lets the play develop. The safety's taken away with the inside receiver. It opens up the back end of coverage. A perfectly thrown ball by Trickett right over the shoulder to Alford, and the Mountaineers jump up early on TCU.
Mountaineers take the opening possession, 75 yards, 7 running plays. Trickett 3 for 3 on the drive, and a 23-yard touchdown to Alford. Was working into this first quarter win. TCU did fall behind last week to Texas Tech before the overwhelming comeback win, but they're used to it being up 14-0 in all their other games this year. Short kickoff. Cameron Eccles Looper, one of the receivers, is knocked down hard at the 15-yard line. So Trevone Boykin will have to come out and play from behind. The junior, who was a receiver last year in this game, caught 11 balls against the Mountaineers, but has become a very good quarterback, a Heisman candidate.
Dana Holgerson said he was the best athlete on the field last year as a receiver, and he's become one of the great stories. Last week, a huge week, 82 points. He's been in a zone here, running this newfound offense with Doug Meacham and Sonny Cumbie. We'll see if it can continue in a much tougher environment today here in Morgantown.
BJ Catalon, Aaron Green are the two backs flanking Boykin, who will throw on first down. Near sideline, a dangerous throw across the field. Trying to get the ball to Josh Dotson, his top receiver, who was a concern with an ankle injury, but warmed up okay, and he starts.
Something to remember about this attack here early. They spread you out with 4 and sometimes 5 receivers, which they have here. And when they go empty, West Virginia's approach is blitz, blitz, blitz. They want to come after Boykin and challenge these TCU wide receivers with an aggressive mindset.
BJ Catalon motioning into the backfield. Pressure off the edge again. Gets the ball quickly, but incomplete. Broken up very well by Darrell Worley on the far side. 3rd and 10.
Here's a great example that Tony Gibson wants to see. Tighten up your coverage. He believes that Worley can cover anybody in the Big 12. They leave him on an island the entire game. How quickly he breaks on the ball. And again, up in the face of these TCU receivers, which is dangerous because of the speed of the entire group collectively.
He was challenging a receiver that's running 10-1-2 100 meters. Colby Listenby. A lot of one-on-one battles in this game. On 3rd and 10, Boykin throws incomplete. 3 passes, 3 incompletions. Catalon, the intended receiver, but KJ Dillon, the spur backer, was right there.
And Chris, look across the board at this coverage. They have guys, and I'm with you. I mean, you're putting guys in the face of receivers. Look at this. Look how tight they are. You got to love it. You got to love the aggressive approach. Receivers that run 10-1, 10-3, 100 meters.
Ethan Perry to kick it away. Vernon Davis Jr. is hammered immediately at the 45-yard line. But the Mountaineers' improved defense forces a 3 and out against Boykin. They get the ball back up 7 in great field position. Week-long camping trip to set up for Tent City on Sunday. Wanting to put a positive spin on the school spirit. Reputation took a hit. All the fires, the mayhem after they upset Baylor. Those students waited a week to see our College Game Day cameras. A fun morning here in Morgantown. And a good start for the Mountaineers. Ball at the 45. Trickett keeps it. Wanted to take a shot downfield, now dumps it off incomplete. He was looking for Kevin White.
Interesting there. First series, TCU struggled defending the run with 2 high safety look. First play in this second series, they start with 1 high safety, man-to-man, and then they backed out of it at the last second, confused Trickett.
Quick handout to Smallwood, who shimmies and shakes down inside the TCU 45. It's a 1st and 10.
Well, this offensive line does a great job. You got the big guard there, Galinsky, coming around, pulling around, opening up a nice hole. Again, different feel with this offense because of the way they can take control at the line of scrimmage, especially there in the middle. Spain got a good block as well, the left guard.
Looks like the sophomore from Delaware is going to be the featured back today. Already the 6th carry for Smallwood. He's got it again, and a short gain. Oh, Kevin White, the senior, will guard Kevin White, the receiver here. Kevin Mark White and Kevin Ramon White.
And look at this, June 25th. I mean, they're what, a few weeks away. I mean, it's a marquee matchup. A lot of people want to see who can win that. Of course, Kevin White, the West Virginia side, had the big play on the last series on 3rd down.
That's top of the screen. White takes off, but Trickett's rolling the other way, delivers low, incomplete. It bounced on the carpet. Mario Alford trying to come back to the football. It'll set up 3rd down.
You know, Trickett isn't known for necessarily his mobility, but does have a good feel. He does have a good feel, and what I love is that Alford works back to the football. Ball definitely goes through his hands and goes to the turf. Sets up a 3rd down. West Virginia was 3 of 3 in the first series on 3rd down, including the play to White.
Trickett Rolling away, fires, complete. White makes the catch. Driven back. They'll spot him with first down yardage at the 33. That was Kevin White versus Kevin White.
Yeah, when in doubt on third down and you have to bail out of the pocket, where are your eyes going to go? Right to number 11, and here's the matchup one-on-one. And again, quarterback breaks down. He comes back to the ball, but not too far to take himself away from getting the first down.
West Virginia at the 33. Trickett's firing again on first down. That's Jordan Thompson, a short gain. Thompson, the 5'7", 165-pound Texan.
And Gary's fired up because our Kevin White versus Kevin White matchup. That time, a big block by White trying to spring his receiver loose.
Trickett tries to escape. Buys time, fires near side. Catch made by Shell, and Shell's driven out, but it's another West Virginia first down.
See, you don't have to be a guy that runs a 4.5 to have an ability to keep a play alive. Trickett, just a pocket awareness, just kind of a feel, a presence about him where he just slides away from some concerns and some protection issues and makes a play.
Their first down throw. This is Thompson again, gets a block on the edge, hit hard, and here comes a flag in late. Blow delivered by the safety, Chris Hackett, who's a volatile player.
Chris, I think that might be a holding call. That flag came out before contact was even made.
Holding by number 5 of the offense. It's a 10-yard penalty and replay first down.
So it'll back up the Mountaineers. Hackett, who delivered the shot, was initially ejected from throwing a punch last week. Would have missed the first half. The conference overturned that.
Yeah, Mario Alford right there. No question about it. The official in the back had a great view of it. I'm surprised we didn't get an additional call there, though, from Chris Hackett.
Watch the signals now. Protected by 2 guys with towels. Identified with the card, which helps Trickett find Holgerson on the sidelines because he's back a few yards off the sideline, Kirk. He's not like most coaches out there in a prominent position.
And now he's parallel right now, right with Trickett. He's actually communicating with him right now. Constant communication.
Not much on the front of that card. It just helps the quarterback find the head coach.
That's right.
So 1st and 15, ball back at the 27. A first down handoff to Shell, who scoots ahead. Shell lowers the shoulder down near the marker at the 12.
This is not just great job blocking by the offensive line, but you're seeing these backs run with an attitude, running through potential arm tackles against, by the way, a pretty good defense.
Playing fast, Shell again, sidesteps and has a first down.
They're doing a very good job, West Virginia, with the play calling from Dana Holgerson with the balance right now. 18 plays, 9 runs, 9 passes. But I'm telling you, all this running and controlling things up front is going to eventually lead them to some even bigger plays down the road against play action where the safeties start cheating down to stop that run game.
This Frogs defense reeling in the early going as Shell takes it again, follows a block, powers to the 5.
Mark Glowinski has been busy, the senior right guard, number 64, getting some great blocks, fitting with those linebackers perfectly. And you're talking about linebackers that are coming downhill immediately. And right now, Marcus Mallett, Paul Dawson, Jonathan Anderson, they're losing that battle that they're used to winning when it comes to stopping the run.
5 300-pounders in the offensive line for West Virginia. They are having their way right now. 2nd and 4 from the 5. Dreamus Smith checks in, a tailback. He's got it. Knocked down at the 2. You look at this, you go, how could this be a Dana Holgerson offense?
Yeah, I know. I know, and he's even saying to himself, is this a Dana Holgerson offense? They've learned, as I said earlier, to become much more patient with their attack.
Land fast on 3rd and 2. Again, Smith forced wide and dropped for a loss. Ball comes out, but he was tackled by Kindred and Kevin White over there. So TCU finally makes a stop.
Well, they out-leveraged him. They're without a tight end in the game, it's really hard to bounce the ball and get it to the outside. There were too many TCU defenders on that side of the line of scrimmage, and they did a very nice job of holding up in the middle, bouncing it to the outside, and then chasing it down.
Angled chip shot for Lambert, who's won 2 games this year with walk-off field goals. He's excellent from distance. This one just 21 yards. So 2 possessions, 10 points for West Virginia, but the Frogs defense finally rises up at their own 5-yard line. Mountaineers up 10-0, scoring on each of their first 2 possessions, and TCU's only had the ball 3 plays so far in the first quarter. Nothing to show for it. As Oberkrom boots it away, again into the wind. And the ball just bounces, got to field it. It's a scrum down there, and the Mountaineers fall on it. TCU not paying attention, the last thing they needed.
Chris, you've got to have a mentality when you go on the road. You've got to get locked in. There are no excuses for not communicating like this. Looked like Wilson from West Virginia pounces on it, number 25 right there. But my goodness, on the road, down 10, Eccles Looper just lets the ball fall in front of him. And I know the wind's blowing, but you've got to communicate, and you cannot afford to shoot yourself in the foot like this on the road.
Mountaineer defense has not recovered a fumble all season long. Now the special teams get one, and a serious test for TCU's defense. 5 on the play clock for Trickett. Yeah, the clock very close to 0 before the play got away. Trickett gets away, doesn't often run, is hauled down after a short gain by Josh Caraway. Crowd wanted a penalty as Trickett gets up slowly.
In the world, is that not a penalty? I mean,
did he get the back of the horse collar there?
He got either a horse collar or a face mask. It looked like his helmet almost came. Yeah, oh my gosh, his helmet almost got ripped off.
Right out in the open. The Mountaineer players were taking great exception to that tackle.
It's a 15-yard penalty. Yeah, that's rough there. Not sure how that wasn't seen. It was right in the middle of about 4 different officials.
Ball should be down inside the 20. Said 2nd and 8 at the 28. Wow. He turned and handed off to Smallwood. Tries the left side again. TCU, Kirk, 0 total yards. There's still feisty tempers down there.
It's getting a little chippy right now. And when your quarterback gets hit like that, you can see the ball control early in this game, how much it's favoring the Mountaineers. Chris, an offensive line takes that personally. Like in hockey, you bring a certain guy off the bench over the boards after your star player gets hit. That's the mentality of an offensive line against a defense that takes a shot like that, especially when they don't get called for a penalty.
Mountaineers are 5 for 5 on 3rd down. Need 2 here. Cricket still got it. Rolling and takes another shot. Drop for a loss. Excellent penetration. Jonathan Anderson also in the backfield there.
But Jonathan Anderson on 3rd down, a great job of staying home. It's like Trickett after that series limping off the field. He's right here as an outside linebacker. They're assuming the last thing on 3rd and short they're thinking about is a quarterback who isn't the most mobile guy pulling around on a naked bootleg. But Anderson, the discipline there to stay home and the speed, of course, to close in and make the play.
So into the wind. Here's Lambert from 44 yards. Drives it right through. The strong leg, important, working into a stiff wind. 13-0 Mountaineers. Michael Molinari having the ball held as he kicks off. And it's a short kick this time. It bounces again. Once again, confusion. Cameron Eccles Looper, who made the mistake last time, didn't feel that one either.
And now they're yelling at each other. Chris, BJ Catalon and Eccles Looper. Boy, they better get on the same page. Go back when we went to break. Dana Holgerson furious with the officials, and it has everything to do with the non-call here on a personal foul face mask where Trickett gets out of the open field, and then on 3rd and short, he gets thrown down short of the 1st down. And when we went to the break, this is Dana Holgerson letting the officials know what he thought about the no call against his quarterback.
Meanwhile, TCU does a good job, non-call aside, of forcing a field goal after that kick return disaster, and Boykin has the football. Shows the dual threat ability, patience waiting for the blocker, now dropped after an 8-yard gain by Darrell Worley. Frogs have not trailed by more than 7. Oklahoma and Texas Tech. But this is an offense that had almost 800 yards and the 82 points last week we talked about. Very, very potent. They'll have their opportunities to make big plays. They're working with the wind in this opening quarter. Boykin has yet to connect. Now a throw downfield, one-on-one, over the head, incomplete. It was intended for the sprinter Listenby, covered by Worley. 3rd and 2.
I like the call on 1st and 10 with Boykin because of his mobility. If things aren't going well, one thing you can always count on is Boykin and his feet to pick up the big yards. I'm just still shocked to see West Virginia playing so aggressively.
And a throw on the far side. They played very quickly. The Mountaineers weren't lined up, and Listenby makes a catch for a first down.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, the defensive back wasn't even in position. He's well off to the far right. The reason he's so far back, it wasn't because of the cushion. He was still getting back in position to get ready to play against his tempo.
Initial first down for TCU. And the first catch carry, I should say, for BJ Catalon. And the versatile back gets the corner to midfield, driven out right there.
There, the first time we see a crease against this aggressive blitzing West Virginia defense, and Catalon, who has great quickness, great vision, finally has a little bit of room to work with, and we'll see if that slows down the Mountaineers defense, who still have their ears pinned back attacking the Horned Frogs.
Catalon got 19, and he's got it again. Short gain. Catalon, the junior from Houston, Westside High School, a powerhouse. Pretty good receiver as well, out of the backfield.
Now they'll motion him out like they are right now, put him in there as a slot receiver because of his ability to run routes and also make plays against linebackers.
Mountaineers crowding the line. Bring pressure against the empty. It's a screen underneath. Caught and off and running is Deontay Gray, a sprinter. You're not going to catch him. The perils of West Virginia's risky blitz package, Kirk.
And that's what happens when you play this style of defense. We talked about it this morning on game day. We've talked about it the entire first quarter. At times you make plays and you give the offense trouble. And against this speed from TCU, at any moment you get the ball to receiver in man-to-man coverage without any safeties back there. You make one guy miss and you're off to the races for a touchdown.
Gray, who comes from the same high school as Catalon in Houston, a track All-American, got a 94-yarder against Texas Tech and 47 that time. Yeah,
the patience here, I think, is important to see. And watch the linemen get out and help out as far as making some blocks. Naff does a nice job there. Boy, it looked like possibility of a hold there that they may have gotten away with, but the speed on the jailbreak screen. Nice block as well by his fellow receiver, Slania. And then look at, again, they get in the open field between Deontay Gray, Colby Listenby, and the entire group. There's 4 or 5 of them. All they need just a little bit of a crease and they're gone. And maybe this is what Boykin needed to slow down, as we said, West Virginia, and get their rhythm back as an offense.
It's an explosive group, and you may ask, if you're West Virginia, why play such high risk? Why let a sprinter, run free in that situation? That's the way they do it, though. Yeah,
from the second half of the Texas Tech game, the Baylor game, and the Oklahoma State game, that's the defense that West Virginia has become.
Oberkrom drives it deep, and Efford mishandles it and downs it. They'll shift around to get the wind at their back in another minute 44. Cricket 7 for 9 to start this game. They flip it around. They call the little hop pass there, and Jordan Thompson, a short game to Heather.
Chris, Alex, as you can see, Clint Trickett back out on the field. He was testing that right ankle during the last series, shook off the athletic trainers, didn't want to retape, didn't want any chance of any more swelling, took some meds. Backup Skylar Howard did warm up, but as you can see, Trinkett good to go.
Do what you have to do, right, to stay on the field.
Yeah.
On second down, they hand off to Smallwood. Nice open field tackle. That was Derek Kindred, the safety, dropping him. It'll be third down.
This continues to be a great battle, and if you're just tuning in and you're thinking, I thought Clint Trickett and West Virginia were all about throwing the football around, we've seen a different first quarter from the Mountaineers and the patience within this offense.
A lot more runs than passes. Here's the throw on third down. Trickett is screened into traffic. White trying to escape, but he's dropped for a loss. 3 Horned Frogs surrounding the fine receiver. It was Kevin White bringing down Kevin White.
And that's how you bring down Kevin White, is you get leverage on the football. You have guys in position and communicating. Right there, you see Kevin White from TCU pointing right away, calling out the screen. And immediately you see the safeties coming in to get involved, but you have 3 or 4 different TCU defenders in there involved in making that play.
It was the punt by Nick O'Toole, who has, I think, the finest facial hair among all punters in college football. Right?
We'll have to visit
so
that.
Kind of the boom stash.
Yeah, there it is. Do they pull back and get a little conservative, which would be a change for them for the last 10 quarters? Or they continue to say, hey, we're gonna continue to press this offense, continue to play man and blitz them?
Little option look. They pitch it to Catalon, who collects it but is knocked down immediately. Tony Gibson in his first year as defensive coordinator, the 4th coordinator in 4 years for Holgorsen. He was here under Rich Rodriguez. Went to Michigan, Arizona, and now back here. There he is with a camouflage look. Likes to be down on the sidelines. See the look in his players' eyes. End of an eventful first quarter. Frogs on the march, but the Mountaineers up 13-7. Back to Morgantown after this message. In transforming his offense, Patterson went to the same coaching tree that produced Holgorsen. Doug Mecha worked with Dana at Oklahoma State. He has final say in the play calls. He wanted to bring in Sonny Cumbie to be co-coordinator and quarterback coach. The ex-Red Raider quarterback was there when Holgorsen was the OC, and once scored 70 points against the Patterson defense back in the days. Beginning of the second quarter, 2nd and 11. Empty backfield. Boykin gets it out quickly far side. Catch made by Catalon, and the tailback takes it for about 7.
I just can't say enough about what Gary Patterson recognized, and I thought this week in talking to him with you and I and Heather, he brought up a good point. It was not just about scoring more points, it was about keeping some of that homegrown talent in the Dallas-Fort Worth metro area there in Fort Worth.
Third down throw is behind the receiver. Dodson was cutting in. Boykin kept it outside, and it's 4th down.
Big stop there considering what happened the last time out. This is early in the game for fans. It's not just about the points that you're seeing. It's about these 2 coordinators from both sides of the ball feeling each other out, recognizing we give them this look, they're giving us that look, and how are we going to respond to it?
Punt goes out of bounds, and they'll spot it at the 20 for West Virginia. Yeah, there's Sonny Cumbie pitching it around for Mike Leach. They fell down 21-0 to TCU, then ended up putting 70 on the board with Holgorsen calling the plays back then.
These guys all are so familiar with one another. They all run, for the most part, the same type of offense. Mike Leach has a lot to do with it. Hal Mummy has a lot to do with it. They all do it in different ways. Their own little signature on it.
Dana said he was back to Valdosta State.
Yeah.
Back when Mummy was there. Flip near side. Catch made by Jordan Thompson. For a little guy, he tries to be a physical player after the catch. Derek Kindred drove him out.
It's a little easier to get some room to run when Kevin White. I'm as impressed with Kevin White as when he blocks as I am when he catches the ball. It reminds me of Julio Jones and how he used to block at Alabama.
He's got the same hairstyle, and he watches Jones on Sundays. He tries to take little things from guys like Julio Jones, Fitzgerald, Des Bryant.
Jones was a beast as a blocker in college.
Trickett fires far side, long throw and a catch made, driven down is Alford, but it's a first down across the 35.
These TCU corners are going to be challenged. It's not just Kevin White against Kevin White. It's the other side, which I think is really the biggest concern for Gary Patterson, leaving these young corners isolated one-on-one against Mario Alford and the other West Virginia receivers.
Trickett, winded his back in this quarter. Fires long downfield, looking for White. Sometimes you just got to hope that your receiver can make a play, but the other Kevin White was right there.
I think having the other Kevin White frees him up to be able to leave him one-on-one. As good as Kevin White, the Mountaineer, is as a receiver, look at the position there. I mean, there's nowhere to go for Kevin White, as big as he is and as physical as he can be. Just great coverage and great body position there by the defensive back, Kevin White.
Just the third incompletion for Trickett. He had made 8 in a row. They hand it off on 2nd and 10. Shell takes a shot, gains 3, 3rd and 7.
And the matchup continues to be not just the offensive line against the defensive line, but these linebackers and the safeties. And the guys that I'm keeping an eye on are Chris Hackett back there in the back, number 1. And also Sam Carter. Their eyes and their eye discipline over this course of this game will be challenged because of how successful West Virginia is right now in running the football. Not so much on 3rd down, but on 1st and 2nd down. These safeties back there, much out circling for you. These guys right here, they're going to be the key to the game for TCU.
Play clock at 3. Trickett hands it off. Looks like he checked to a run, and Shell breaks a tackle, has a first down, loses the football. Still loose, and now TCU covers it. So Shell made the first down, lost the ball. That's the 11th lost fumble. James McFarland was there for TCU.
Yeah, great play. First of all, another effort play, Chris. We've seen a few of these the last few weeks by backs fighting to get extra yards, only to be denied because of a fumble. McFarland from behind never gives up on the play and rips it out of there, and then you can see the reaction from TCU, one of the best teams in the country at turnover margin. In fact, they're 2nd in the country coming into this game at +12. See if they can capitalize on a big break that the defense provides for Trevone Boykin in the offense.
True freshman Chris Bradley on the recover after McFarland forced it. Again, option look. Boykin with the keeper. Gains about 3.
That's the X factor within the offense. They spread you out with 4 or 5 receivers. You know Boykin can create with his feet, but design option, something that takes, when you're preparing for a week and you're a defense, takes hours to get ready to play assignment football. You're dealing with all of these passing attacks in different ways. Now you've got a quarterback running the option. Puts a lot of stress on a defense.
Catalon in the pistol formation. They fake it to him. Boykin delivers high and incomplete. He's targeted Dotson a few times, but no catches.
Just watching here early in this game, in this climate, on the road to Morgantown, I would be determined, which Tony Gibson is, to make Trevone Boykin throw the ball downfield to beat me. I would take away the jailbreak screen. I would try to take away a quarterback run, make him throw the ball downfield to beat me today.
Horned Frogs just 1 of 4 on 3rd down. Pressure, Boykin escapes, but not for long. Hauled down. Tried to spin free. Edward Muldrow, the linebacker, got him.
Again, numbers in the box on 3rd down. You've got 6 blockers, if you include the back, right here, and they bring 7. As athletic as Boykin is, there's one more than they can handle, and because of that, the offensive line can't deal with it. Boykin's got to bail out of there, and a nice call, an aggressive call again by Tony Gibson, the defensive coordinator.
On number 20 of the offense. It's a 5-yard penalty, and it's still 4th down.
They'll punt it again. The 3rd 3 and out for this potent TCU offense already, Kirk.
So they're not pulling back at all. They gave up the touchdown to Gray. They're not pulling back at all. They came in with a plan. It's been working for the last 2.5 games against Baylor and Texas Tech and Oklahoma State. They're not going to change against TCU.
Boykin has the touchdown pass to Gray, but he's just 3 of 9. And the fair catch is made at the 10-yard line. So the Mountaineers fumble the ball away, but the defense bails out the offense. Still 13-7. Rick Trickett there in the booth. He's a very respected longtime offensive line coach. He was here at West Virginia under Rodriguez, now of course at Florida State, and the father of Clint Trickett, who takes over for West Virginia at the 10-yard line. They hand it off and straight ahead, a short carry by Andre Bowie. See Clint there as a young kid.
That's great.
Travis is also in coaching. He's a grad assistant at Florida State, now the co-coordinator at Samford.
Yeah, Rick was a fixture here with Rich Rod as an offensive line coach. Did a great job and obviously helping the Noles now.
Bowie, second straight carry, knocked down hard, but a first down. Of course, with the Seminoles playing on Thursday, opportunity for Rick to come up here and watch his kid as the rain really begins to fall here in Morgantown.
Remember, of course, had some health concerns in the Notre Dame game, missed that game. The team was able to find a way to win. Great to see him back involved doing what he loves to do, and that's helping that offensive line and helping Jimbo and the offense for the Noles.
Clint says his dad feels just fine now, which is a relief. First down throw for Clint. This is just getting nastier for the offense to deal with here.
Yeah, and he also gave Kevin White, who we just talked so much about, giving him a little bit of feedback about his route, not maybe going a little bit too deep on it, but see the numbers. West Virginia last year started as a backup, eventually emerged as the starter, struggled, and this year just having a huge year, a monster year with a better understanding of the offense and making much quicker decisions in this system.
Feedback? Is that what you call that when you yell at a receiver giving feedback?
Yeah.
Second down, Trickett is chased, tries to escape. Knocked down hard. Holgerson just holds his breath. He's got his weight up to 182 pounds, but he doesn't want this guy taking too many shots.
No, he doesn't, but I'm a bit surprised. Look at the mobility. I mean, just getting away just enough. You know, he's not known for his ability to create, but he is known for his ability to just have just enough athletic ability to be able to avoid an 8 or 9 yard loss.
Whistle now before the play. One designed run called this year for Trickett. It was against Towson State. It was a touchdown.
A false start by number 13 to the offense. It's a 5-yard penalty, and it's still third down.
And then to Heather, the conditions deteriorating.
It is. It is starting to rain, but you guys were talking about Clint Trickett and his weight. You know, he couldn't keep weight on at all. He would set his alarm for 2 a.m. every morning just to wake up and down a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, but it just wouldn't stick. They did tons of testing, figured out he actually has celiac disease, which is now that he has a gluten-free diet, his body can absorb the nutrients, and that's allowed him to put on the weight.
Really allowed him to play football at a high level. Trickett takes a shot downfield, ill-advised throw, and it's intercepted. Chris Hackett roaming free. The safety hit from behind and knocked down, but TCU's second takeaway. That's a bad decision by the quarterback.
It is. He locked into his Kevin White, but I'm going to talk about the other Kevin White again. He's going up against one of the best receivers in the country, locks him down completely. The mistake is from the quarterback. Trickett locks in on his go-to man one too many times, just puts it up in the air, hoping these guys can eventually find a way to get to it. And the veteran Hackett comes up with a big interception and returns it deep into West Virginia territory. Again, they keep coming up. There it is, plus 14, the best in the country with turnover margin.
Josh Caraway, the sophomore defensive end, helped off, favoring that right leg. In the meantime, Boykin, with the wind in his face, the rain falling, is set up at the 21-yard line. Another chance for TCU to cash in a turnover and perhaps take the lead here after falling behind 13-0. Empty backfield. Catalon is in the near slot. Now motions back. Boykin looks back near side into traffic as a flag comes down. Dropped behind the line is Deontay Gray.
We get a chop block here, it looked like, on the right side of that offensive line.
Personal foul, a chop block by number 65 and number 74 of the offense. It's a 15-yard penalty, and it's still first down.
Now this
Good eye, coach.
Yeah, we had this in a Stanford USC game, but this is more your traditional chop block on the right side. Vaitai is engaged, and then the guard goes underneath. Or actually, it's the other way. The guard's engaged, and Vaitai submarines him. If you're engaged, another lineman cannot go down low, and when it's seen, it's called every single time.
So it's 1st and 25. Notice Boykin has taken off the glove from his right throwing hand. He was wearing 2 gloves at the beginning of the game. Conditions are awful right now, especially working this way. Boykin looping throw into coverage. Was it picked? No. Incomplete. Worley working back. That ball just got caught up in the wind.
Make him throw downfield. Take away the underneath throw. Take away the screens. And that's what they're trying to do. That's why the coverage is so tight. He's gotten rid of the glove, Chris, because a lot of times they'll wear these gloves in the college game because they get a good grip when it's just cold. But when it starts to rain, it becomes way too slick in many cases, and they have to lose the glove.
2nd and 25. Boykin with an empty backfield takes off. A little too patient, caught from behind and dropped for a short loss. Check. Riddick got him. 7th sack of the year for Riddick.
Good job of, remember, he is known for his mobility. He's going to have to come out and lost his helmet. He'll miss a play here on 3rd down. But they do a good job of not just pressuring him, but containing him. They're rushing 3. Do a good job. There's big Kyle Rose to Centerville Elk doing a nice job of holding his point in the middle as well.
Here comes the freshman Zach Allen replacing Boykin on this 3rd and 26. A low snap. Allen trying to escape. He's not Boykin as a runner, and he's knocked down at the 35. What a tough position for a freshman who's thrown 2 passes all season. Boykin again losing the helmet, and TCU losing an opportunity. They took over at the 21, went backwards with the penalty.
And we came into this game expecting a lot of points and a potential shootout. Obviously, the weather isn't the greatest, but these defenses on both sides have making some adjustments and settling down and playing well.
That is an understatement, as the punt is shanked. May work out okay as it rolls dead at about the 16. Weather not the greatest, he says.
Yeah. But one thing that West Virginia did know coming into this game is they had not only contained Boykin, but hit him like that when they had their opportunities. Shaq Riddick that time lowering the boom there on the quarterback.
Handoff here to Wendell Smallwood. Well, TCU leads the conference in takeaways. They've got 2 takeaways. Normally, they're great at cashing them in. Twice they've taken over in Mountaineer territory. Twice come up empty in this first half.
Absolutely. I mean, they've had opportunities, not able to come away with points. We'll have to see how much that hurts them down the road.
2nd down handoff. Smallwood weaving for another 1st down as they go back to the ground game here. Paul Dawson on the tackle.
Continuing, if you're Clint Trickett, you're looking, the 2 safeties that I circled, that's what he's looking into. Derek Kindred on one side, and also have Chris Hackett, who came up with that interception. You can see him back there rotating around. That's what he's trying to get a feel for. That's why he's making adjustments at the line. They're still deep, and that still means he needs to be able to run the ball unless they start to cheat down.
They show pressure and bring it. Smallwood runs away from it. Knocked down after a 2-yard gain. Chris Hackett on the tackle.
He's trying to show at the last second right here. He walks up. He was showing that he was deep. Thinks, okay, we can run the ball. And then here comes the safety coming up quick and run support Hackett to make that play.
26 running plays so far for the Mountaineers. 16 passes. There's a 2nd down throw. Trickett buying time, motioning for his receiver to come back, but sails it way over the head of Thompson.
Last week, Oklahoma State stopped Kevin White. He only had 3 catches for 27 yards. They took him away by double teaming him, and so West Virginia found other ways to make plays. They went to Mario Alford, who had 7 catches, 136 yards. They ran the ball more. Right now, White been targeted 6 times, but only has the 3 receptions.
He was shut down in this game by Jason Verrett. The corner is now with the Chargers as a starting rookie.
And Kevin White today is doing a pretty good job on him as well.
On 3rd and 8, Trickett steps up, delivers over the middle, almost intercepted. Hackett had a chance at his 2nd pick of the half.
just sitting back there and reading the eyes of the quarterback right back here. This is a great look at what he's seeing with Trickett. Trickett, again, tendency to lock in, has no awareness at all that Hackett is sitting there. See his eyes on the receiver? He's thinking man-to-man coverage and just looking at his receiver and the man that was covering him.
Eccles' loop were driven way back by a punt that got into the jet stream and tackled down to the 12. Excellent coverage after the long punt. Nasty day in Morgantown on the Horned Frogs' powerful offense, which averages 28 points in the first half, held to 7 so far, and just 92 yards. And they've been set up twice by their defense with good field position, have failed to cash in. Now very poor field position. Look at the 13. They hand it to Catalon. Still running. BJ Catalon gets a block on the edge and gains 10.
Well, that is a physical run and a poor job of wrapping up from West Virginia. Safety comes up in run support. Is in a great position to be able to make a play on it. Just didn't do a good job of wrapping up. Trevone Henry, the true freshman, who's got a great future. But again, as a true freshman, he might have been able to get away with just throwing that shoulder in there to knock it back down. In the Big 12, you got to wrap him up.
Catalon, 190 pounds, but he's strong and versatile. They fake it to him. Boykin was looking downfield, now takes a shot, loops the ball up into traffic, incomplete. Colby Listenby, and now a flag comes in. It was 7-on-7. Worley defending Listenby, and usually you see a whole bunch of pass interference calls in a Big 12 game. This would be the first.
Yeah, I think Worley that time tried to time up a potential chance to make an interception, and I think he uses his body here.
There's no foul for pass interference.
Now they'll pick it up.
Yeah, we'll take a good look at it here. Two tight end look. Great job of protecting him.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think that's why I said he uses his body. I thought he used his body.
You can go for the ball, but you can't get there that early.
No, they get away with one there.
Interesting, because they did throw the flag right away.
Yeah.
But a discussion, and they pick it up. Boykin keeps it, escapes, and shows how elusive he can be. Looked like it was going to be a tackle for loss. He gets 8. He got away from Noble Wachiku, the defensive end.
Wachiku had it. I mean, and this goes back to last year's game with Boykin as a receiver. Look at this formation.
On 3rd and 2, they pitch it far side. Dotson finally makes a catch, loses the ball out of bounds. Carl Joseph delivered a shot. It'll be a first down.
Yeah, big hit. But how about the call? This is this offense. This is Gary Patterson. He's got a lineman out there. Tempo. They go fast. They're making you have to adjust. You had 3 linemen in close. You had a center and 2 guards. You had another offensive lineman at tackle out there with 2 receivers. And then they do it fast to try to make you adjust before you even know what happened.
Hey, Kirk, that was Halapoulivaati Vaitai out there.
Absolutely.
The big tackle.
The big fella.
That's tough for a high-tempo offense to get Big V's name out. Boykin, pump fake. Tries to hope his guy can win a battle, but Dotson very well covered, and it's overthrown.
I'll believe you on that. What was his first name again?
Halapoulivaati. You got a lot of vowels in there. You got Babulage, the other tackle.
I was debating all week if I should go with Big V or Vaitai. I think I got Vaitai down.
There's the left tackle, the 360-pounder, Babulage. There's a pitch near side, catch made. Trying to get ahead is Deontay Gray, who caught the touchdown pass. 3rd and short.
Gray comes up limping a little bit. Had the big touchdown reception earlier.
No time to get off the field, though.
Another hurry up here, 3rd down. Quick throw. 4
receivers to the far side for Boykin.
This is where you want to tighten up the coverage. Either Boykin on the quarterback keep or a quick throw.
They bring pressure, delivers a slant, incomplete. Juwan Story in traffic, the only receiver on the left of the formation. And the Horned Frogs will kick it away again.
I mean, you just knew that he was going to get the ball out of his hands. He was going to try to find a matchup that he liked. He goes to the boundary, the near side, the Story. Ball's actually thrown well enough to be able to make a play and get a first down. In these conditions, tough ball, tough catch to make. One of the pretty tight spiral and hard thrown ball.
Here's Ethan Parham. You said it, Kirk. These are difficult conditions to be precise with the football as a quarterback and a receiver. Boykin just 5 of 15. Trickett delivers far side to Smallwood, and the tailback knocked out after an 8-yard gain by Kindred inside of 5 minutes to go before halftime. Do you have a thought on his Affleck trivia question? A lot of good receivers over the years.
Really.
You think maybe is it one of the Oklahoma State guys? Crabtree had a bunch of catches.
Des Bryant, maybe? Justin Blackman?
I was thinking Oklahoma State has produced guys who've been close to that record if they don't have it. Hand off to Marshall Shell, and he gets right at the first down before Mallett stopped him.
It's becoming more and more obvious that you're going to have to see Clint Trickett have success throwing the football, that some others besides Kevin White are going to have to be able to beat their man in man-to-man coverage, or even in the zone find that soft spot, whether it's Mario Alford or Jordan Thompson, who we saw earlier. The running game.
And up again. Smallwood loses the ball again on the ground. Scooped up by the Horned Frogs. Still alive. They blow the whistle. Kindred picked up the fumble, stepped out of bounds before he fumbled it. But another turnover for the Mountaineers. Hackett is down on the field, and TCU was set up again.
Hackett makes another play. He causes the fumble. This guy's been all over the field today, one of the leaders. And there it is. Puts his helmet on the football, ball's on the ground. Here comes Kindred. Two guys, by the way, we've been circling and talking about their importance to this defense.
West Virginia fumbled the ball. It was recovered by TCU. Then it was fumbled by TCU, and it went forward and out of bounds. By rule, the ball is placed at the spot of the fumble. First down.
That ball was very close along the sidelines as Patterson gets the explanation. The bottom line is they're going to be set up in great field position.
And it's funny, Gary Patterson coming over to check on his defensive back, Chris Hackett. But he puts his helmet right on the ball like a Gary Patterson defensive back is coached to do. Ball goes out of bounds. It'll be at the spot.
Did it go out of bounds? I mean, Kindred went out of bounds. That ball was
I don't know.
rolling along. I don't know that it ever went out of bounds.
Yeah, I don't know.
Question was, did he step out before he lost the ball? Here's the helmet on the ball that creates the fumble, the third turnover of the half.
Here we go. Good look at it. Ball's out. I don't know. Eventually it was recovered by a TCU player, but even he looked like he was out of bounds. So the ball eventually went out of bounds, and it can't go forward. So it's back to where the spot where he let the ball, where the ball was fumbled by the TCU player. But the point is, TCU and Gary Patterson, known for Gary Patterson and the defense today, with the offense slow to get started, it's been Gary's defense that's really kept them in this game.
But the offense hasn't been able to cash in these takeaways. A chance to, again, take the lead before halftime. Got to hurry. Play clock winds down, and Trevone Boykin, who's just been off his game in tough conditions here, didn't see it. No. Back him up 5 yards.
That's very frustrating after a turnover. No awareness, looking over, making sure there's confirmation on the play, and by the time he's 2 or 3 seconds after the fact getting the snap off because he's locked in over to the sideline with Doug Meacham, making sure he's getting the right call.
The last takeover, Kirk, they had the chop block in the first play, which backed him up 15 yards. It's 1st and 15. Catalon, short gain.
Deontay Gray walked off the field gingerly. He's still being checked on the sidelines by the TCU medical staff. Had the big touchdown earlier, one of their most explosive receivers.
Desmond White, the true freshman, checks in at his place. Boykin looks far side, throws right into traffic, intercepted. threw it right to KJ Dillon. And once again, the Horned Frogs squander an opportunity.
Yeah, he just did not. It's another example. Watch the defensive back just kind of sit in coverage. He's as surprised as anybody. The inside receiver started to go upfield. He let him go. I got to believe that Boykin thought that he would see Dillon go with that receiver, and he just let him go. Dillon, I think Boykin was anticipating Dillon to go downfield with the receiver, but he just sat there. Next thing he knows, Dillon looks up, the ball's coming right to him.
If he holds up the throw, the receiver is running free for an easy touchdown. Nobody picked up Dotson. You got to read lips here. Cooper Castleberry saying the ruling on the field was an interception. Now they'll review things, but boy, Boykin came in here, sparkling stats, 82 points on the board last week. We'll review to see whether or not Dillon did make the catch. Yeah, it looks pretty good.
Yeah.
It'll be a quick review. Boykirk, yeah, the conditions are tough. Boykin before the game, so loose down there. I think Patterson felt uncomfortable because the quarterback seemed a little too loose for this environment. Just has not played well in this first half.
It's the first time they've had to leave the state of Texas to play a football game. It's a different deal when you go on the road and you come to Morgantown, not to mention the rain, the wind, dealing with this crowd. It's still another, a long way to go, an entire half still to be played, but you've got to give West Virginia's defense and Tony Gibson's style of in your face, blitz the quarterback, be aggressive. That's their approach that they decided to come in with. Realizing that TCU scored 82 points last week, realizing that Boykin's one of the hottest quarterbacks, they decided to be aggressive and challenge Boykin. And for at least up in this first half, they've been very successful in doing that.
If I told you West Virginia is going to have 1 interception and 2 fumbles in the second quarter, and TCU is going to take over from the 45 in 3 times, microphone's still not working. The ruling is confirmed. It will be an interception. I told you 3 times this potent offense is going to take over in the plus 45 or in, twice inside the 25 and come up with nothing. Hard to believe.
Remember in the Baylor game, Baylor was another situation where their offense had mistakes and turnovers. Their defense held up big in that game. And I really think that's the game where West Virginia's defense became a different team, much more confident in their approach and how they play.
A handoff to Andrew Bowie. Smallwood with the fumble. Shell has taken his turn. Now they'll go to the junior from Jacksonville. 3:13 before halftime.
Well, Kevin White is at the bottom of the screen. Who else besides White can make a play in this offense in the pass game?
And keep it on the ground. Spun down after a 2-yard gain. Chucky Hunter is Bowie. So 3rd down.
Early in this game, West Virginia kind of having their way up front, getting some great movement, running the football. Not seen that the last 2 or 3 possessions. They've not been able to control that line of scrimmage, and it's really had a negative impact on their continuity and the rhythm of this offense.
Trickett checking with Holgerson on the sideline for the signal. Gets some pressure. They pick it up, and it's complete to Jordan Thompson for a 1st down.
There you go. Who wants to make a play? If Kevin White's going to take care of Kevin White at the bottom and play well, that means somebody else is going to have to make a play. And the junior, 5'7", 165 pounds from Katy, Texas, Jordan Thompson steps up.
This is Bowie again. Leaves his way for a nice 1st down gain.
Looks like we may have a hold here.
It is a hold. TCU's defensive line trying to hold up without Josh Caraway, and the sophomore starter at end walked off earlier. So that means more for James McFarland.
Quentin Spain that time, even though the mic's down, you could see Quentin Spain, the left guard, was guilty of the hold, and closing in on 2 minutes. 1st and 20. Got a good field goal kicker, but I still think you're playing it smart with a 13-7 lead.
Bowie still alive. Shakes tackles up to the 37. It's still hard to believe this is a Holgerson West Virginia offense we're seeing now.
But with that gain by Bowie, 2nd down, again, changes your mindset a little bit. You're thinking about field goal range. That was a heck of a run there by Bowie.
He's got it again. And dragged down at the 41. Mountaineers got a couple timeouts to use if they want to, but it's third down.
Like how well they do here. They're in the middle of wanting to do both. Work a little bit of clock just in case it doesn't work out. And at the same time, let's see if they can convert to try to be able to now think about trying to pick up the first down and move into field goal range.
Trickett fires downfield again, looking for White, but they are all over number 11. It was Kevin White with safety help as well.
I hope everybody's paying attention because a lot of people have bragged about Kevin White, the receiver, all year. Could be the best receiver in the country. Is he as physical as any receiver we've seen in a long time? This Kevin White in the first half, shaking his head, he's having a little bit of fun. You know why? He's shutting down the top receiver in the country.
Eccles Looper will let this punt drop, and it'll bounce into the end zone. Minute 5 to go before halftime. So here comes Boykin. Ball at the 20. 5 of 16 with an interception and a touchdown in the first half. Handed off. Aaron Green driven back. This Mountaineer defense has been especially good after halftime, but they have not had many games where they started this well.
No, not at all. And because of the job they've done, nearly a 10-minute time of possession advantage for West Virginia, keeping Trevone Boykin and TCU on the sideline.
Just 128 total yards for TCU. 47 came on the Boykin, the great touchdown pass, their only score. Catalon trying to shake. He is hammered hard. That was KJ Dillon who just made the pick, flying downhill, Kirk.
Can we go real time here? Can we just take this in? Oh, this feels good.
Oh, didn't feel good for BJ.
That is just perfect. Perfect form. KJ Dillon with a big hit to set the tone here, to end the tone here this first half for the Mountaineer defense. What a half of football for Tony Gibson and the Mountaineers.
A scoreless second quarter. Didn't think we'd say that. In the wind and the rain in Morgantown, it's the Neers up by 6, and Heather visiting with Gary Patterson.
Coach, your prolific offense held to just 7 first half points. What's been your greatest challenge?
Well, incomplete passes. You got to give West Virginia credit. We got to play better. We're not executing right now. They're playing with a lot of energy. We've got to match it.
Speaking of, you guys forced 2 turnovers, came away with nothing. How do you better capitalize on those opportunities?
Yeah, we had 3, and so when you get chances inside their 30, you got to at least get field goals. We'd be tied up, but we just did that.
Coach, we'll let you get to the team. Thank you.
TCU will get the ball to start the second half. Not exactly what we expected. 13-7 at the break. Stay tuned. The third quarter all season long, TCU held scoreless. Boykin comes out firing far side, low throw, incomplete, trying to get it to Catalon. Boykin, a guy, of course, we talked about bouncing between receiver and quarterback. He struggled last year. The fans were tough on him. He was chased off of Twitter. It got so bad. So this year has been kind of a revelation for everybody, including the TCU fans and coaching staff. This is his first really rough game of the season. Can he right the ship in the second half on the option look? They flip it to Catalon, who drops it, boots it, and the lineman has to fall on it. Big Vitae, the tackle, saved a turnover after Catalon mishandled the pitch.
You know, technique-wise, he does a good job of attacking the linebacker that time, Tonkery, and I'm just surprised. I mean, this is a part of their offense that they're typically in sync on. The ball goes on the ground, and a potential another miscue there for Gary Patterson and the Horned Frogs.
3rd and 12. Gary was grumpy even after scoring 82. He said, I want to save some of those points for this week. He had a feeling maybe it wouldn't be a great offensive day. There's a throw. Desmond White, the freshman, makes the catch, but he's short of the first down at the 34. So it's 4th down.
Well, there's a heck of a throw. They gave themselves a chance, but they'll have to punt it away. And I think what Trevone Boykin's going to have to eventually do, and Gary Patterson knows this, he's going to have to be able to make some plays downfield in these conditions against this defense that's determined to play a ton of man-to-man and pressure him with the blitz.
Punt into the wind by Perry, not fielded by Vernon Davis Jr. And the Mountaineers will take over at their 29. Heather.
Chris, Dana Holgorsen was frustrated by his offense, frustrated by the turnovers, and specifically very frustrated with his running back, saying they've got to make safeties miss and they must hang on to the ball when they're hit. They knew coming in this would be a physical game. They have to do a better job. On the bright side, he's pleased with his O-line and says his quarterback, Clint Trickett, is seeing things well, getting them in the right plays.
Heather, thanks. You got two very frustrated head coaches at the moment then. Mountaineers' first play of the third quarter is a handoff to Smallwood. They're working with the wind, Kirk, in the third quarter. TCU will have the wind in the fourth.
I think it's a different concern for Clint Trickett for this offense, because with TCU playing with their safeties back, you've got to be able to run the football. And I think Dana Holgorsen's probably challenging his offensive line, because that's where they've got to be able to have success, winning that battle up front against a very athletic TCU front.
Smallwood again on 2nd and 9, and there again, safeties flying down in there. Sam Carter, the steady leader of that secondary, on the tackle. It's 3rd and long.
And the linebackers are involved because there's just no hesitation. And I think Dana Holgorsen, as he calls these plays in his own form and technique that he uses down the road, again, he's going to have to hit some play action passes behind those safeties and behind those linebackers.
Frogs rush 5 on 3rd down. Trickett trying to escape, backpedaling, and finally trips and is knocked down. Paul Dawson, the senior, will get credited for his 4th sack of the season.
But they are doing a great job of route recognition. Gary Patterson's defense is locked in. There's nowhere for Trickett to go with the ball, because Kevin White, the receiver, has been erased this game by Kevin White, the defensive back. It's forcing Trickett to find other options, and they're not getting separation.
O'Toole's punt, a good one again. Eccles Looper in the wind. It's tricky.
One of the reasons Trevone Boykin has struggled is his inability to get the ball thrown downfield. Beyond 15 yards, he's not had a completion yet. It's allowed West Virginia in a mindset of being aggressive and challenging these receivers. They're defending from about 5 or 10 yards beyond the line of scrimmage and back towards the line of scrimmage, making him show that he can throw downfield.
This is Catalon, an offense at TCU, Kirk, that already had more 20-yard plus plays, more explosive plays than they had all of last season. Completely limited today.
Well, they're limited partly because of the way West Virginia is defending them, and also partly because they're not at full speed with Gray, who's a little dinged up. We haven't seen a whole lot of him. Doxson came into this game not 100% with an ankle. And West Virginia, even with those receivers were in the game, I don't think they would deviate at all from their game plan and their aggressive approach that they've been doing for the last 3 or 4 weeks.
Running game really hasn't been there. Only 56 yards on the ground for the Horned Frogs. There's a 2nd down throw. Boykin over the middle, high and incomplete. Dotson was open, but airmailed by the quarterback.
Just something we have not seen much of at all this year from Boykin in this new system. He does a good job of looking the linebackers off. You saw him look Kwiatkowski off. It opened up a great throwing lane, and he's just high. Just doing a good job of making him have to try to get patient and be able to find that rhythm in the pocket, and he's just not been able to do that.
It's been a serious struggle on 3rd down today. They need 7. Good protection. Over the middle. Incomplete. Once again looking for Dotson on a slant. Terrell Chestnut covered him. Diving interception attempt by Myers. Another 3 and out. The 6th today.
Yeah, they go right back to that inside route. And look at Dotson running his route. He's running at about 70%. He's not the same receiver. And you know, he wants the interference call. but that is not the same speed by Dotson.
Ooh, Ethan Perry was rushed hard by West Virginia. Gets the punt away. Fair catch made at the 32-yard line by Davis. This was close to being a game-changing special teams play. If he picks his head up, maybe he blocks it with the hat. Brad, congratulations, man, on the tour and all your success. Brad Paisley joining us. Mr. Corso's 250th headgear prediction on College Game Day this morning. Usually, most frogs I've seen, the eyes are in the front. I don't know what he was thinking. They mishandle the snap, ball to the ground again, and TCU recovers. A fourth West Virginia turnover. Mike Tua recovered it.
Another miscue. He makes a check at the line. The center snaps the ball. Trickett miscommunication with the center. He was coming up to make a check, whether he was going to change the play or change the protection. Center snaps the ball back. Miscommunication, and there's the TCU defense. That time, they didn't necessarily have a lot to do with it other than recognizing the ball and pouncing on it. Another turnover opportunity. They've had 3. This is their 4th. They haven't scored a point yet on the previous 3.
Tyler Orlowski, the center, very reliable snapper. Holgerson was bragging about him yesterday. Just a miscommunication, and now Boykin set up at the 28. As the pattern repeats, and a timeout. They were running out of time again on the change of possession. TCU has been frustrated. Gibson wanted a penalty. He didn't think they got the timeout. Trevone Boykin went back and got a different helmet. He took the field after the turnover with one helmet. Nearly got a delay of game, switched helmets, and now BJ Catalon running free, almost lost the ball, but carries down to the 11 before Joseph stopped him. And a positive start to this post-turnover drive.
Some great blocks, not just the toughness there by Catalon, but a good job of running the football with authority.
Aaron Green now in the game, following blocker, squirts free down to the 2-yard line.
All of a sudden now you've got a different feel from TCU. Tempo. They've got West Virginia for the first time all game on its heels with the tempo. Back-to-back successful running plays.
Playing at warp speed, 2nd and 1. Green again. Bounce, tries to cut back, lowers his shoulder. It'll be 1st and goal, TCU. So running plays after this fumble recovery, and TCU now in position to take the lead. There's been no scoring for almost 23 minutes in this game.
Muldrow, the outside linebacker, is down.
Holgerson knew you can't keep turning the ball over in your own territory. Eventually an offense this good is going to cash it in.
And here's the first good run after the timeout. Look at the blocks there. Nice zone play. Boy, just a great job by that right side of the offensive line. Receivers getting some blocks downfield. And Green comes in on the second play to be able to have an opportunity. Had 105 yards last week against Texas Tech. A veteran who's been around. Has great quickness and speed.
Green was a freshman at Nebraska. Here's what we tried to show you before. Boykin comes out after the fumble recovery with the wrong helmet on.
Yeah, he was on the field after the fumble recovery, maybe in just so much excitement. He just seems to be out of sorts. Grabs the wrong helmet. He's on the field. They're about to snap the ball. Play clock goes down. They call a timeout, and while they call a timeout, he ran over to the sideline and found his helmet.
Muldrow helped off. 1st and goal. Horned Frogs at the 2-yard line.
Down. That play is under further review.
Okay, it was a kind of a delayed review by Richard Jordan, the replay official of this Big 12 crew. After all that's happened, TCU falling down 13-0 on the road, quarterback struggling, failing to cash in the first 3 takeaways of the game. Touchdown here, and they're suddenly in the lead. Their defense playing well, and it's the Mountaineers under some duress.
They're trying to find the spot of the football. He got across that first down marker. He did a good job getting his left hand down. Initially, his knee did not touch, and maybe that's what they were looking at the beginning. That first cut that he made, where he got his hand down, is my guess would be where they're looking at it.
After further review, the ruling on the field stands.
I think you're spot on, Kirk. They weren't sure if he did go down, but the spot correct. It is a 1st and goal, nose inside the 2-yard line. These spread offenses in the shotgun, it's always interesting to see what they try to employ in these goal line situations.
Without a doubt, and Gary Patterson, almost as you said, felt uncomfortable with those 82 points. This is more of a Gary Patterson coached game. Defense creating those turnovers and giving the offense a short field.
Catalon in the pistol behind Boykin. Catalon gets it. Has to sidestep. Hard hit. He'll lose about a half yard. Wes Tonkery and Carl Joseph has had a few big hits combined on that one.
Yeah, and also a nice job up front just by the West Virginia defensive line getting penetration, blowing that play up. Really nowhere for Catalon to try to go along with gang tackling. The option is a great call down in this area with the ability to run by Trevone Boykin.
Travoris Johnson, number 24, to the left of the quarterback. Option look, Boykin keeps it. It finds the end zone. TCU finally cashes in and a point away from taking the lead.
Talked about how that option look down here is really a good call, and they end up going to it. Gives you a numbers advantage. Boykin, that's his comfort zone. When he gets a chance to get the ball out on the edge down inside that 5-yard line, he knows how to find the end zone.
Only had to move it 27 yards after the 4th Mountaineer turnover in the last quarter and a half. Oberkrom, 45 of 46 PATs. He's kicked a lot of them this year, and TCU is in front suddenly.
Yeah, very impressive that this team has fought back. Their offense is struggling. Their defense has provided ample opportunities for them to put points up on the board. The 4th time the defense gives this offense the ball in plus territory, and the 4th time is where they're able to execute, and it's a miscue by West Virginia. Their own offense making a mistake, TCU pouncing on the ball. And as I said, 4 turnovers in your opponent's side of the field, you're typically going to be able to get some points on the board, and this time they capitalize with the touchdown. In a game that has been about as ugly as it could go for this TCU offense, they find themselves on the road, up by a point in this environment.
4th rushing touchdown for Boykin, who is still just 6 of 20 throwing the ball today. And the West Virginia offense has really struggled since the opening drive. They had a couple of field goals, but they went right down the field 75 yards after the opening kickoff. That's been their only touchdown today. Short boot. Shelton Gibson escapes momentarily, but will be spun down at the 20. To Chris Cotter for an update. Wow, Chris, we talked on game day. Strange things have happened in that series. Big upsets.
That would be one. That'd be a big one.
Sweet for Will Muschamp, to say the least. And off short gain there is Dreamus Smith as they continue to search for different tailbacks who can hold on to the ball. Auburn and Ole Miss tonight on ESPN, 7 o'clock Eastern time. A high-stakes game in the SEC West. But let's see if Trickett and the Mountaineers, with the wind at their back for 9 more minutes, can get something done in the passing game. Here's a delivery for a first down across the middle. That's Jordan Thompson, who's become the go-to guy.
I think a big story in this game, and the reason Clint Trickett and his offense are struggling, is their #1 go-to man is Kevin White, their receiver, a potential All-American candidate, and a guy who probably could be the best receiver in the country, has been shut down by the other Kevin White on the other side of the ball.
There's another running play, and breaking free is Smith. Dreamus Smith to the 30. Finally forced out of bounds in the red zone by Derek Kindred. And the Mountaineers, after struggling for a long time, finally bust a big run.
Yeah, Quentin Spain leads the way, 67. Just a great job of executing a power running game. And Smith gets his chance as a senior and makes it count with a huge gain for the Mountaineer offense.
50 yards. West Virginia quickly to the 17. Smith is still in the game. Senior from Wichita. Picks his way again. Knocked down at the 10. Dana Holgorsen has called very few games in his career like this one.
Without a doubt. He's been relying on the run game, and he said it's been a challenge for him and for Shannon Dawson to be more patient. It's paying off for him.
Smith again stacked up, had nowhere to run as the Horned Frogs penetrated very quickly. Jonathan Anderson, the middle linebacker, has been active for TCU.
Well, he has been. I mean, Mallett, Anderson, Dawson busy because of the way West Virginia has continued to run the football. It's the 40th time they have run the football in this football game. West Virginia, 40 carries. It's made those linebackers have to have a big day, along with the safeties as well.
3rd and 4. Trickett chased. He can run for it. Darts up the middle. Slides for a 1st and goal at the 5. Not a natural runner, but he saw some space. Kirk reacted very quickly.
Well, he missed a corner blitz. Kevin White in the boundary blitzes off of the near hash right here. Comes off of Kevin White, who's then open for a 1st down. He doesn't recognize it. Right there, if he throws it, he's got an easy 1st down. Look how close Kevin White came to getting home and coming up with a sack. He got out of there just in time and picked up the 1st down.
And look how close Trickett came to taking a huge shot. He just ducked down there at the last second. And West Virginia, boy, this is a very impressive answer if they can get in the end zone here after TCU took their first lead of the game, had the 4 turnovers within about a 5-possession span for the Mountaineers, but the big run by Smith has set them up.
Yeah, and what's been interesting is this offense has been sputtering. You know, we've talked a lot about TCU and what's wrong with Trevone Boykin, what's wrong with TCU. They scored 82. They lead the nation in scoring with 50 a game. And yet West Virginia, as good as things looked early, they've been sputtering. Kevin White, the All-American receiver, non-factor for the most part in this game, and it's forced their hand to go to other options, including the running game, which they've just not done a good enough job of their last, probably the last 5 or 6 possessions, not doing a good job controlling that line of scrimmage.
It's Chucky Hunter, one of 3 guys from West Monroe, Louisiana here. One of the Duck Dynasty guys. he walks off. Josh Caraway, starting defensive end, he walked off earlier. 1st and goal, West Virginia. This is Smith. The whole drive has been dreaming of Smith. Why not let him score? A 50-yard run by Smith ignited this Mountaineer offense. 7 for 66 in the drive, and West Virginia reclaims the lead.
How fitting for a senior in this big a game to come up with some pivotal plays here in this second half. And Cody Clay, a junior who's from the state of West Virginia, makes a great block to spring him loose.
And Josh Lambert makes it 20-14, West Virginia.
Cody Clay, 88, does a great job of springing him loose for the touchdown. This is the big gain that got them deep into TCU territory. This West Virginia team didn't wait long. Look at Clay, 88, right there with a great block on McFarland. Springs Smith into the end zone.
Brad Paisley from Glendale, West Virginia, kind of up in the Panhandle, visiting with Oliver Luck, the athletic director, former great quarterback, and of course a member of the selection committee. We won't talk about it. You try to pry a detail out of Oliver. What was it like? What were the issues?
I say nothing.
Yeah, nothing. as instructed.
That's right. Bill Hancock would be proud.
So can TCU answer on the road into the teeth of that wind? First down throw for Boykin, and the catch is made finally. Dodson loses the ball, picked up. A scoop and score by Terrell Chestnut. If he gets a block, yes. Pandemonium in Morgantown. What a sudden change of events.
Best throw of the night by Boykin. Over top of the defender, Dillon, but the West Virginia defense never gave up on the play. Chestnut rips it out of there, picks it up, and takes it all the way to the house for a touchdown.
Junior corner who missed the game. He had an ankle injury. Just finally got back to 100% late in the week, ripping the ball away from Dodson, who's got an ankle issue himself.
Let's see if he stayed in bounds. They're going to take another look at it just to confirm. And he's definitely in for the touchdown. But how about you see this in the NFL and in college football? These defensive backs, they give up a play, but until the receiver or the running back is down, they are ripping at that football to get it out of there.
Takeaways have been a problem for this West Virginia defense. Only 6 of them. Hadn't recovered a fumble all season. They got one on special teams earlier. That's the first defensive fumble recovery of the year, and it's a scoop and score to build the lead here.
Tremendous effort. As I said, Boykin, 1st and 10, they come out throwing the football. He puts it right over number 9, KJ Dillon. A great throw. But his receiver, Dodson, just could not hold on to the football.
You wonder about Dodson, who was sort of a game-time decision. His ankle only improved late in the week. You know, it's tough. And you don't really prepare like it's a normal game, and he hasn't really been that involved here today.
You don't really know until you get out here. And obviously, it's a tough day and night with the conditions, wet and cold.
After further review, the ruling on the field stands. Touchdown.
Got a long way to go in his football game, and that is the play of the game so far.
Josh Lambert with a point to try to stretch the lead to 13 midway in the 3rd quarter. A lot of time left, but that would be a tough play for this TCU offense to overcome. They had the lead a couple minutes ago here. Morgantown rocking. There goes the musket. The lead is 13. Man, the move was sort of gloomy after yet another West Virginia turnover and set TCU up, and the Horned Frogs had taken the lead. Quick touchdown drive, the scoop and score, and suddenly it's a 13-point deficit for the number 7 ranked team. We're going to have to hold this football here because it's blown off the tee twice.
Get into November, I don't care who you are and who you have to play. You go on the road, you want to earn a right to be in that bracket. You got to deal with environments like this when you have a big bullseye on your chest, whether it's TCU or anybody else. It's a challenge to get through the grind.
Kickoff taken at the 5-yard line by Echols. Loper coverage is good. He's knocked down at the 11, and he is slow to get up after that hit. 2 touchdowns in 15 seconds for West Virginia.
This is where Boykin and this offense have got to be able to show some composure, be able to take this adversity and be able to still go out and execute.
Quarterback is 7 of 21 today. And they flip it back left side, and the fullback makes the catch, taking a big shot. As Cliff Murphy, tight end, picked up 8 yards.
I don't know if we can get a real speed here on this one too. KJ Dillon earlier, this time Carl Joseph. Boy, the bandit and the spur, the linebackers / safeties in this defense are aggressive veteran football players, and they hit you hard.
This is Aaron Green. Cuts it back. Makes the first down. If you're a quarterback that's had a day like this, Kirk, and nothing's really gone very well for Boykin, how tough can it be to keep your poise? All of a sudden, you can feel a little more urgency here down 13.
Well, I think that's what you do. You crank the tempo up. Doug Meacham's got to find the plays he's most confident in as a quarterback, knows him better than anybody in this system.
Green has to sidestep penetration. Nice job cutting it back. Gets the corners, dragged down at the 30. Kwiatkowski saved an even bigger gain.
And the other thing you have to do is rely on your teammates. I mean, this is an offense that, again, they've come in, they've been scoring on people at will. When you're scoring 50 a game, you haven't necessarily hit a lot of weeks where you've struggled to find a rhythm and a continuity. And this is the first time they've really hit this kind of game. This is where he can't try to feel like he has to do it all by himself all at once. He's got to rely on the running game the way he is now and the receivers.
Boykin, they rush only 3 and drop 8. Slightly more conservative approach now from Tony Gibson in that defense, and not bringing quite as much all-out pressure.
I think the problem you have if you're Doug Meacham is you have a quarterback that's struggling to get comfortable back in the pocket, and so anything where he's throwing downfield, Tony Gibson and his West Virginia defense doing a good job of rattling this offense, and in particular the quarterback Boykin, who just looks unsettled and uncomfortable in that pocket, throwing the ball again downfield, 5, 10, 15 yards downfield.
6 Mountaineers crowd the line in an empty backfield. He gets the ball out on time, but again the timing just not there. It was behind David Porter. Boykin took a huge shot from the blind side. Edward Muldrow came flying in.
And Muldrow on a big hit coming on the blind side of the quarterback. He just goes right around the left tackle. Here he comes with speed. Boykin never saw him, never felt him, was fortunate to get that ball out of his hands.
TCU makes 1 first down, has to punt it away, and they'll down the ball at the 33-yard line. We get a steady diet of running plays more.
Oh, yeah. They want to work clock for sure. At the same time, not get too conservative with the way TCU, if they do catch fire offensively, they can score in a hurry.
They fake it to Smith. Cricket looking downfield, fires far side, incomplete. Alford covered there.
I think that
Terrence Mosley, the freshman.
Chris, that shows the confidence that they have in Clint Trickett. To come out, you got all this momentum, you're up by 13. Again, people would think, okay, they're going to run the ball, work clock, first play out, put the ball in the hands of the veteran quarterback and hope that he makes good decisions with it.
It'll be 3rd and long. Where it's amazing to watch a West Virginia offense where Kevin White, who's been unguardable, unstoppable all season long, has really been taken out of the game by his counterpart with the same name.
See, he didn't take into account our sneaky camera there. He's got the towels up, he's got the board up, he's hiding. And we're sneaking around with that jib camera. We see him down there.
3 for 28 for Kevin White. That's it for a guy who's been one of the best receivers in the country. Thompson comes in motion. Trickett escapes for now. Flips it short. Ill-advised play again. Paul Dawson grabbed it. A flag is down. Are they going to rule this a good interception? Very close to the sideline.
He got his feet down, Chris, for the interception. Paul Dawson, you know, he played wide receiver in high school. Had a big interception against Oklahoma. Has great hands.
Terrell Lathan
holding
pressured
by
him.
number 78 of the offense. That penalty is declined. First down.
I think Clint's just trying to throw the football away. I mean, but when he throws this ball, his own receiver, his running back's not even looking at the ball, and you could see the hands of Dawson just puts his hand up and brings it down. And as I said, a background of being a wide receiver. How about him getting his feet down in bounds? And once again, for the 5th time, the TCU defense gives Trevone Boykin the ball in plus territory, this time at the 28-yard line.
They finally cashed one of the takeaways in for a touchdown earlier in this quarter. Green shakes, gets the edge, and makes a nice gain on first down. You get a linebacker like Dawson who can go up and make a one-handed stab of the ball, get the feet down. And you see the skills for a junior college transfer. You said played receiver in high school. Patterson has a lot of guys on defense who are great offensive players in high school. He turned them into defenders. But they do a lot. Option look again. Boykin pitches to Green. Strung out. Well played by Wes Tonkery, the senior linebacker.
This time Boykin does not do a good job of attacking Tonkery. He kind of comes at him, but he doesn't completely make him commit to the quarterback. So Tonkery plays the quarterback, and he also makes a play on the pitchback. That time, Aaron Green. Nice job by Wes Tonkery, and poor execution there by the TCU offense.
And Muldrow, the best athlete among the linebacking corps, finally knocked him down. 3rd and 5. A handoff. Catalon running free inside the 10. Touchdown TCU. And the Frogs fight back, cashing in a takeaway for the 2nd time today. A point away from cutting the lead back to 6.
All thanks to Paul Dawson and that interception. The 5th, as we said, the last 2 they've been able to take advantage of and get points. The first 3 they came away with nothing in the first half. How about the burst from Catalon when he takes his handoff?
9th touchdown running the ball for Catalon. Another look at the athletic pick that set this up. That's a linebacker, folks.
Unbelievable play there, and then they get a chance here on 3rd down. They formation it the right way. They got the look that they wanted, and Catalon takes it in for the touchdown.
Paul Dawson, senior from Dallas, top tackler on the team. He's got a few sacks this year. Now we got 3 interceptions, and BJ Catalon showing the acceleration. Quietly has 74 yards rushing, and now Trickett, after that poor decision, inability to throw the ball away, Kirk has to go back to work. Just a 6-point margin, and TCU will have the win in the 4th quarter. They scoot the kick along the ground, and West Virginia will have good field position now.
Remember, this is 3rd down, and you have man-to-man coverage on the outside out here. And when this opens, there aren't a whole lot of blocks. Watch what you see open up on the right side, and watch how the defenders are locked in man-to-man coverage on 3rd down. They don't even realize that Catalon's taking this ball and going all the way to the end zone. They've got their backs turned in man-to-man coverage. That was just one of those situations where if he could initially get by that initial surge, there's no one left to stop him.
Trickett, the first down throw, fires downfield, breaking free is Alford, makes the catch at the 12. So they trust Trickett to take a shot downfield, and the speedster collects it.
They continue to answer TCU when TCU tries to quit, stop the momentum, and try to get it on their side. We kept saying, which receiver's going to emerge? Kevin White's been taken out of this game by Kevin White, the defender, and Mario Alford, who's been a leader for this group, had a big week last week, comes up with a big catch.
46 yards, sets him up at the 12. Play clock ticking down to 5 now. And they give it up to Bowie. Bowie, the smallest of the tailbacks for West Virginia, short gain.
How about Trickett? Not just an answer by West Virginia, but after the poor decision and the poor throw that Dawson intercepted, the very next time they come back, this offense shows again that they believe in their leader, puts the ball up into the air, man-to-man coverage, and Alford adjusts back to the ball and again makes that big play.
Bowie again, not much there. It'll be 3rd and long. I think Holgerson, Kirk, probably feels a lot better throwing this direction, left to right, with the wind at Trickett's back. He took maybe one of the last shots he had downfield before they work into that stiff wind in the 4th quarter.
It's a good point.
Final minute of the third now, 3rd and 7.
Here's Kevin White down all the way at the bottom. Has had a very, very quiet night against Kevin White.
A false start by number 57 of the offense.
No,
It's a
boy.
5-yard penalty, and it's still 3rd down.
Adam Pankey, the left tackle, and that'll back him up. 3rd and 12 now. Field goal, not a bad result from this drive. Build the lead back to 9. Let's see what the 3rd down call is. It's Bowie in the game to the right of Trickett, and they just hand it to him. Running hard, but it'll be stopped 2.5 yards short of the 1st down by Carter. So a pretty conservative call to set up perhaps a field goal attempt.
You're up by 6. You're going into the 4th quarter in a game that's been going back and forth. It gives you a great chance to make this a 2-possession game by bringing in a very good field goal kicker here.
And the clock does tick down. 15 minutes to play in Morgantown. Mountaineers trying to spring an upset. Back after this message and a word from your local ABC station. Strip, scoop, and score. And Boykin has had a frustrating day. Just 8 of 24, a 33% passer. FBS teams 2 and 23 with 5+ turnovers. Notre Dame and Syracuse, a game we saw earlier this year, one of those.
That's
wins.
right. Remember, TCU at times has had a hard time on the pooch punt or the pooch kick. And twice the ball has dropped to the surface. One time West Virginia jumped on top of it.
Kickoff from Molinari coming into a wind here. See if they pooch it again. Just a directional kick. Eccles Looper sprints over. That's effectively done. Pins him inside the 20. And now a flag comes down. Did a Mountaineer hit him after he fielded the kick?
No, I think is he just going to say that kick ended up out of bounds before the return man got his hands on it?
It's a mental mistake to go field it.
I don't know.
Free kick out of bounds by the kicking team. By rule, the ball is placed at the 35-yard line.
I was shocked that he was even trying to go over there and make a play on it. Boy, it's been a bit of a mystery here. That looks like, again, we'll maybe get another look at it.
Didn't get his foot down in bounds after making the catch. But you're right. It's been a misadventure. Eccles Looper let one kickoff hit the ground, and it was recovered by West Virginia. Right after that, let another one hit the ground. His team did cover that one. But it's been a misadventure. Dave Kataya, our official in the booth here. Dave?
Well, what they're looking at is, did he come down in bounds with the ball? It appears he did not. Therefore, it is a kick out of bounds.
So it improves the field position a little bit. Boykin, as a flag comes down, escapes and flips it for a 1st down near midfield. But I think this one's coming back.
Holding by number 77 of the offense. It's a 10-yard penalty, and it's still 1st down.
Guard Jamel Naff.
And the left guard, 77. Right here. 1st and 10. TCU trying to get something started right there. Right initially, he locked on to Shaq Riddick, who used his quickness to accelerate by him. Grabbed onto the jersey and got caught for it.
Huge bodies up front for the Horned Frogs, but it's the quickness sometimes can give them trouble. 1st and 20, they hand it off, and making a nice move there is Aaron Green, still running out near midfield. So suddenly the Horned Frogs running game is going.
Same play as the touchdown, the exact same look. Good job of blocking on that right side. He finds a crease, and the receivers are doing their job downfield as well.
Green tries to cut it back, makes another nice cut back to the middle. Dives for 4.
Boy, Green compliments BJ Catalon very, very well. They both have great speed, but he's got some quickness, and he's able to slide around side to side and get around some of these defenders. Also has great vision. Catalon back into the game.
And Green was averaging 9.3 a carry coming in, so he's a big play creator. This is Catalon. Hesitates. Not much. Driven back. It'll be 3rd and long.
Doug Meacham has done a really good job of sticking to his guns, recognizing he's got a quarterback that's in a little bit of a funk throwing the football. They haven't panicked, even though they're trailing in the second half. Still relying on that running game. Now Boykin's going to have to make a play either with his arm or his feet here on 3rd down.
Empty backfield, but they only rush 3, and once again, it's confusion and a poor decision by Boykin there.
Well, they've been pressure. They look like they're going to show pressure, and then at the last second, as the ball is snapped, they rush 3 and drop 8. And this is really all that Tony Gibson's tried to do throughout the whole game, is give off the impression that it's always about the blitz. It's always about the blitz, and then give them a different look to create the confusion.
Perry drops the point and spins it back, and Vernon Davis makes a fair catch down at the 5-yard line. Early 4th quarter, Mountaineers up 9 with the ball. Wow, Chris, so what, Missouri now has control of its destiny in the SEC East.
Good for Will Muschamp, by the way.
Green with Smith. Gets the handoff. Heather?
Well, guys, TCU's defensive line with some injury issues to 2 of their starters. Defensive end Josh Caraway, after x-rays on his right ankle, has been ruled out on the sidelines with ice on that ankle. Also, defensive lineman Chucky Hunter has muscular pain in his neck and right shoulder. They tested his extremities. They put Ben Gay on the area, and he has returned to action.
Ben Gay fixed it, huh? All right. It's the 2nd down handoff. I would think, Kirk, as the ball comes out, TCU says they got it. No signal. And it'll be Mountaineer football. I would think ball security, I was just going to say, would be the #1 priority here for the Mountaineers.
No doubt about it.
5 turnovers.
Not just with the lead, but the way their day has gone, and especially deep in their own territory, where that's where they've had all their turnovers. 5 of them in their own territory.
Overson is not conservative by nature. You know, typically, you'd trust Trickett to make a throw here on 3rd and 9, but it's been a tough stretch for the quarterback. No picks.
And a tough stretch for their receivers, too, against the coverage they faced.
So on 3rd and 9, they hand it to Smith, who's knocked down, and a very quick 3 and out. TCU is going to get the ball back. And the cross and knocks him down.
Crowd's booing because of the conservative approach, but with the way Clint Trickett and this offense have turned the ball over, it's really the smart play. But the TCU defense does its job. Down 9, their job is to get the ball back to Boykin in plus territory, and there's a very good chance of that after this punt.
A tool to kick into this stiff wind, and a whistle and a flag beforehand. It'll back up the Mountaineers 5 more.
A false start by number 17 of the offense. It's a 5-yard penalty, and it's still 4th down.
One of those games, Kirk, with you, so many facets. Not what we expected. The conditions certainly a big part of it. Both defenses have played pretty well. Offense has just struggled on 3rd down. Decent kick of a very cold football fielded at the 48-yard line. Mountaineer week, quieting contest, just a part of it. And the Mountaineer defense rise up again. Here's Boykin with the 1st down throw. Zipped across the middle, and it's Dodson, who's had a tough afternoon and evening with a diving catch at the 36.
They're going to go
play fast.
Going tempo. Great job. Play action on 1st and 10. Suck the linebackers in.
It's KJ Dillon down.
Yep, Dillon is down, but the great call on 1st and 10 by Doug Meacham here.
Dillon in a lot of pain.
Sure is. This West Virginia defense has given Boykin fits, and a lot of it has been because they've given different looks. Here it looks like man-to-man, but instead here Dillon sits back and makes an interception. They brought a lot of pressure, and then at other times they show pressure and they drop. So they've done such a good job of, I think, just getting this offensive line, and mainly Trevone Boykin, the quarterback, unsettled, gotten him out of rhythm. Just looks like a different guy today versus the previous 7 games where he's been in command. 329 yards a game in these first 7, completing close to 60% of his passes, 21 touchdowns, only 3 picks. And tonight you can see he has struggled, and it has a lot to do with the West Virginia defense and the way Tony Gibson has turned them loose against this TCU offense.
Hasn't done much as a runner either, Boykin. Just 19 yards on 6 carries. Did have the short touchdown on the option. Dillon comes out of the game for the Mountaineers. This is Catalon on the reverse, taken around by Listenby. The sprinter looking for space, knocked down at the 30. He's the guy that's run a 10.12 meter, part of that 4x1 relay team for TCU.
You may want to corral him when he gets loose on a reverse. Such speed on this offense. And Doug Meacham, we've talked about how he's been conservative and kind of stuck to his guns, at the same time went down 2 possessions, understands the urgency of this possession at 10:30 to go in the game of getting points.
Catalon, first down at the 25. You saw Listenby finally get a touch. He's been shut down as a receiver. Good job by Darrell Worley, the other number 7 on the field today.
Also a really nice job of just showing patience by Catalon, letting the offensive line push that front 7 of West Virginia's to the sideline, and then finding that crease and shooting through it for the first down.
Catalon again. Shows the quick feet. Earns about 3 yards.
I'm surprised there was not a call there. The reason the crowd is reacting, Cliff Murphy, number 43, came in near the end of that play and lowered the boom on a West Virginia player right at the whistle.
That's 288 pounds in motion there. Gibson was irate. He wanted a personal foul call.
Keep their wits about them. Last thing they need is a 15-yard penalty.
Catalon came in motion. Another flag down.
Offside by the defense. It's a 5-yard penalty, and it's still second down.
He's right here. Towards the end of the play, he gets up off the ground. Players down.
Oh, boy.
I mean, that is a big hit.
Penalty makes it 2nd and 2. Catalon cuts it back. Knocked down at the 10-yard line. So TCU a 1st and goal.
What they're doing, Chris, is West Virginia, because of their penetration, they're getting upfield, and TCU's offensive line is just pushing them to the sideline, creating vertical seams.
Trying to play fast. Aaron Green in for Catalon. By Big 12 standards, conference known for lots of flags, it's been a pretty quiet evening for Cooper Castleberry's crew. Only 10 penalties combined.
There was no play. The offense substituted, and the defense did not have time to match up.
Yeah, BJ Catalon, after he carried the ball, went off the field. And so he's the ball carrier. He's on the field the previous play. He goes over to the sideline. Dana Holgorsen understands that he deserves time to allow his defense to get ready. So they do the smart thing and pick up the flag. But he's still fired up down there. He's halfway out on the field.
He's still out near the painted yard line. He's saying that's a flag on TCU. He's not buying the explanation. Dave Katai, well, what is the beef from Holgorsen here?
Well, I think he wants a foul, but the officials need to stop that play before and allow them to substitute. When they extend their arms in an iron cross fashion, that means don't let them snap the ball until the defense has an opportunity.
After all the fussing, it is 1st and goal. Boykin Hands off to Green. Another whistle before the play. He's thrown down.
A false start by number 77 of the offense. It's a 5-yard penalty, and it's still first down.
Heather is saying that he's frustrated because he can't get a chance to talk to the referee.
Well, it's been frustrating for both head coaches. Holgorsen watching his offense turn it over 5 times, calling a very different kind of game. Patterson watching his offense not really be able to cash in on all the takeaways.
We've got another meeting here with the officials. We have a clock issue now. We haven't had a clock issue yet, so we go across the board here.
Still first and goal. Ball back at the 14. Aaron Green behind and to the left of Boykin. A power set for TCU. Only 2 wide receivers. Green straight ahead. Gets back just about the yards that the penalty cost them.
Remember the last time they got down inside the red zone, they got to a 3rd down, and BJ Catalon sprung loose. Got not only a first down, but took it all the way in for a touchdown. Because West Virginia's locked up man-to-man on the outside, because they're doing such a good job of getting upfield, TCU is doing a nice job of countering that with a running game with the outside zone play that's been able to get some creases and giving them some room to run.
2nd and goal. Boykin has it, flips it back. Thompson trying to work free, takes a shot, slammed down. That's Desmond White. Desmond White, the freshman. A little different look that time. 3rd and goal from the 6 now.
Remember this West Virginia defense, the last 3.5 games on 3rd down, including tonight, they've been outstanding of being able to get pressure on quarterbacks. Tonight, TCU just 3 of 12 on 3rd down.
Catalon cuts it back. Touchdown, TCU. And the Horned Frogs very much alive midway 4th quarter.
Chris, Desmond White, a true freshman from DeSoto, Texas, 5'7", 150 pounds, responsible for a great block along with Colby Listenby.
Catalon 2 yards short of 100 now. Has a couple touchdown runs. Oberkrom boots it through. Now it's a 2-point game midway in the 4th quarter.
Big play. Look at the top here by these receivers. Look at them lock on to those defensive backs. Because of their ability to block and sustain their blocks, that allowed Catalon to get to the corner and give the Horned Frogs a chance here in the 4th quarter. Kevin White has had a quiet night. In fact, you can see first 8 games averaging 9 receptions a game. Tonight just 3. Over 130 yards a game in those first 8. The last reception he had under a minute to go in the 1st quarter. Kevin White from TCU has shut him down for the most part in this game. We'll see if he becomes a factor in the last 7.5 minutes.
Alford has returned 2 kicks for touchdowns, takes it to the goal line, shakes free, and a nice tackle stopped him from a huge return at the 26-yard line. It was David Porter, a wide receiver covering kicks, who made an important stop.
You brought up a really good point at the break about, okay, you want to get the ball to Kevin White. It's been a rough night. This is an example of that. Are you getting conservative, or do you put yourself at risk of maybe something like this happening where you're trying to get the ball to White? You have these other receivers covered. They're not getting separation. It puts Clint Trickett in a tough position. The last time they had the ball, they ran it 3 times and punted it away. Still have the lead. I don't think they can be that conservative now.
Well, they got better field position, Kirk, this time than last time, but it's a first down handoff, and here come the boos. The crowd is a little impatient with this patient approach from Holgorsen.
Well, I think they have to trust in Dana Holgorsen. They're playing the number 7 ranked team in the country. This is not about just offensive stats. Dana said his first one to admit he calls the game to win the game, not just about the offense. So he's not going to run in 3 straight times. He understands that.
Smallwood in motion. Trickett rolls to his right. Looks for somebody. Fires down across the middle. A dangerous throw. He again tried to get it to White, but Kevin White broke it up.
Well, part of the reason that Dana Holgerson's a little hesitant is because of that. Kevin White has owned Kevin White. It's forcing Clint Trickett to have to improvise, which is never necessarily a good thing. That's not his wheelhouse or his strength. So he's turned it over 5 times in his own territory.
On 3rd down, they need 10. Trickett hit. Ball comes out. Smallwood trying to come up with it. He saves disaster. Would have been a 6th turnover. Mike Tua knocked it loose. Mountaineers will have to punt, but it could have been worse.
Well, they do a good job of not giving up on this play. Like I said, you get Trickett to get out of that pocket. It's not necessarily an area where he's had a lot of success throughout his career. He's much more comfortable in the pocket. TCU does it again defensively.
O'Toole, a 2nd good punt into the wind. Eccles Looper retreating, looking for blocks. Doesn't find any. Loses yardage on the return back inside the 30 after a 40-yard punt. But TCU gets the ball down only 2. Maybe another classic between the 2 recent additions to the Big 12. A couple of years ago here, Boykin came on through a 94-yard pass to Josh Boyce, who's now with the Patriots. Patterson went for the 2-pointer and the win. Last year, of course, the Mountaineers got the win in Fort Worth. Boykin still got it. Scampers free. Still getting blocks. Still free. Boykin on the far sideline, driven out at midfield. Shows you the elusiveness.
Yeah, this is a difference from Clint Trickett, obviously, to Boykin. When he gets out in the open field, what I really like is the offensive line and the tight end are blocked right there. You saw Cliff Murphy getting involved, but you saw Boykin, a guy who's had a rough night, not give up on the play, not slide. He's looking for every yard he can get.
It's a special athlete playing quarterback. Catalon cuts it back. Hammered hard. Paid the price to gain absolutely nothing.
I keep saying it, but I've been so impressed by Doug Meacham, recognizing that Boykin's not having a great night, 10 of 27, and instead of panicking and forcing things, they've been patient, put themselves in this position. The defense is assisted, but they've been patient with the running game and moving the football. And the offensive line's done a heck of a job.
Green and Catalon in the game, but it's play action. Green collects it, tries to find some space, knocked down at the 45, 3rd and 5. Inside of 5 minutes to go. It's been rough all game on 3rd down for the Frogs. This is the biggest 3rd down conversion of the game. Green works his way back. Not going to get there. 4th and 3. Wes Tonkery on the tackle. Decision for Patterson now.
Well, the way Gary Patterson's defense has been playing and how conservative West Virginia has been, you got to go for it here.
Similar position the Baylor game, Kirk. It was a tie game at that point. They were stopped on 4th and 3. Bears went down and won it with a walk-off field goal.
I'd give Boykin a chance to make a play with his arm, or again, as we saw earlier on this possession, also with his feet, where he's just as dangerous.
Flips it, incomplete. Tried to get it to Catalon, who released late. Quarterback wants a flag, but the Mountaineers make a stand.
Trevone Boykin thought that he had pass interference. They're trying to slip BJ Catalon right out of the backfield. He might have a good argument. Watch Wes Tonkery, 37 lock onto him right there. That's what he wanted. That's why he was frustrated, and he has every right to be frustrated. Tonkery, the linebacker, holds Catalon doesn't allow him to go out for his route, he would have caught that ball and probably gone all the way to the end zone.
That's a terrible time to miss that call if you're an official. Just grabbed him around the neck. So West Virginia just trying to hold on to the ball, chew on some clock here inside of 4 minutes.
He's telling everybody, yeah, he held me. He held me. Now the defense, which they've done all night, they've got to make a play, and they've got to be able to try to get the football back. And if you're West Virginia, they need a first down.
Hard hit on Bowie. It'll be 3rd and long. The conservative approach continues for Holgorsen. One of the run-heaviest games of his life, for sure.
Can you blame him? Can you blame him? He never defeated 2 top 10 teams in the same season. They already knocked off Baylor a few weeks ago, looking to try to knock off TCU tonight. But the way they've turned the ball over, I don't blame him for erring on the side of being a bit cautious.
They'll use the play clock, run it down before snap again on this 3rd and 10. Horned Frogs smother the running play. It's a loss.
And TCU's
a big hit, and here come the boos again.
They're going to call a timeout. They're going to be left with 1 timeout.
I don't think Trickett loves it.
I don't know if there's a miscommunication with the play call. They give their quarterback Trickett a lot of flexibility at the line of scrimmage with run and pass options, and just based on that conversation, it's pretty heated, pretty animated there. There's clearly a miscommunication between Trickett and Dana Holgorsen.
You play quarterback, Kirk. You want to be trusted by your coach, but Trickett's made enough mistakes to justify a conservative approach.
You know what? Your defense has played well for the most part. Push Trevone Boykin, who's not having a great night, back. Make them have to drive the field, get in field goal range.
There's the punt. It's a low one. Trevone Boykin has been here before, literally here before on this field, and as we mentioned, delivered in dramatic fashion in 2012. Or 94 yards away from the end zone. Look at him dance around, stay alive. Boyce comes back to the ball, a complete coverage bust. He's gone, and Patterson, kind of feeding on that shock to the West Virginia defense, goes for 2 in the win and gets it here.
Playing a little bit more zone here in this possession.
Boykin, a lot of time. Hesitates, now does take off and gets about 4. They don't need a field goal. Oberkrom is a good long-range kicker. He's got the wind at his back. Inside of 2 minutes, 1 timeout to work with.
One of the first times we've seen Tony Gibson be a little bit more cautious in his approach. Playing some man-to-man coverage, but keeping safeties back to prevent the big play.
Boykin delivers far downfield, has a man wide open. Colby Listenby, the sprinter, and TCU already in field goal range.
And a breakdown right there. 2 defenders start to move forward, and all of a sudden you have a defense that's played a ton of man-to-man, trying to play zone, a little bit more cautious. They're out of their kind of routine and their rhythm that they play defensively.
Just the second catch for Listenby, and now Boykin dances for about 6 yards.
They've had so much success playing man-to-man. They go to zone, and they have a miscommunication and a bust, and Boykin takes advantage of it right away.
Stop the clock as the Mountaineer defender down. Jaden Oberkrom has made a 47-yarder this year. He's made a 57-yarder in his career. He's pretty reliable, even from beyond 40 yards this year. He's 5 of 7. Patterson has lots of trust in this guy. Excellent mechanics as a kicker, says our spotter and former Boise State kicker Mike Black.
Yeah.
A guy you can trust in a big situation.
No doubt about it. Like he said in warm-ups and going in this direction, he was making some kicks from 52, 53 yards.
Having said that, if they don't gain another yard, it's still about a 44-yarder.
This is where you're going to see them start to get the ball in the middle of the field, just try to get as many yards as they can, and they're going to hold on to that last time out until they want to bring that field goal unit out to try to win this game.
This is where Boykin's running ability becomes so valuable. They hand it off to Catalon, who cuts it back short of a first down.
Could even see him as he was going down, trying to jump himself back to the left. It's all about positioning the football and getting it in the middle of the field at this point.
Clock running again, 51 seconds. Third down, they need a yard. Not a lot of urgency for TCU.
Run left.
Boykin to Catalon. It is a first down. That'll stop the clock momentarily at 30 seconds to go.
Now they have it exactly where they want it. Now it's a matter of maybe Boykin taking it, just keeping or giving it to Catalon right up the middle.
Clock running again. Catalon again. Hit hard. Knocked down at the 20. Let's see if they just wait, spend that final timeout, and get the kicker on.
Now they're on the left hash, and Joseph lays in. Boy, Joseph is a physical safety.
Catalon kind of staggers to the sidelines. 14 seconds to play, and he's hurt.
Joseph is undersized at 5'11" and 195 pounds, but comes up with bad intentions. The only bad thing about that, if you're TCU, besides Catalon being there on the sideline, is they were right in the middle of the field, and the run by Catalon moves them over to the left hash. Remember, they still have the timeout. Wouldn't be surprised one more run play to get it back over to the middle. That's what Gary's saying. We're going to run it here, get it to the middle, and instantly call a timeout.
Catalon, who has now gone over 100 yards, 20 rushes for 104 and the 2 touchdowns, still shaken up on the far sideline. Jaden Oberkrom, the junior from Arlington, Texas. One of the better clutch kickers in college football. He's had a penchant for big kicks late in games, and this would be one of them to keep TCU's playoff hopes alive. And have a 10-second runoff because the offensive player was injured. So this will be Oberkrom now after TCU spends the final timeout. Horned Frogs fell in a 13-0 hole. It's been a frustrating afternoon and evening in tough conditions. Quarterback has not played like he's expected, but now after all that, a chance to win it.
Considering the mistakes that have been made on both sides of the ball, and the fact that Boykin's just had a rough night on the road in this environment, TCU's defense, led by Gary Patterson, has put their offense and put themselves in a position with those 5 turnovers, a chance to win this game.
Oberkrom from 37 for the win. And a timeout by West Virginia to ice the kick here on a very chilly evening. Any victory here on the road against a West Virginia team would be a quality win for the committee.
And that would be my point here. Everybody gets caught up in, you know, who you're playing. Are they ranked? Are they not ranked? I don't care who you brought into this environment, this stadium, these conditions. This is a tough ask for anybody. So whether you win by a point or you're able to win comfortably, this is still, if they're able to win this game, it would be a quality win for TCU.
Oberkrom lines up again from 37 for the win. And the Frogs, frustrated, find a way to fight back from 9 down in the fourth quarter, 31-30.
What I take away from this is even more respect for TCU. They showed versatility. We knew they could throw the ball all over the place, but 223 yards on the ground. They went to their running game in the second half, and it paid off for them.
Fun day in Morgantown.